In the summer of 2021, when the pandemic closed the borders, I, Licia, an events organizer, together with Swiss Convention Bureau, set off for Geneva for a film shoot. In the time of the pandemic, places where the best steaks in the city were made, took a look at the Hadron Collider, and found out about the new career of science communicator. Took a voyage aboard an old-time paddle boat, mastered the trade of watchmaker, and for the first time in my life, stepped on a sup. This is how it all happened. What was my knowledge of the city? One of the main in Switzerland. Geneva is located on the French border, and French is the language spoken here. The city streets embrace tenderly the shores of Lake Geneva, at the point where the Rhone River flows out of it, onto the Mediterranean. Lake Geneva, which in other languages is called Léman, is the largest in Switzerland. Geneva is also the renowned place of origin of humanistic thought. At the end of the 19th century, entrepreneur Henri Dunant started here the largest world organization of aid to the wounded, the Red Cross, and became the first recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. Geneva is the seat of the European UN headquarters and over 200 other international organizations. The International Airport of Geneva can be easily reached with a direct flight from many destinations. To the city, you can get by taxi or absolutely free by public transport. And right now, I'm telling you how to do this. At the baggage claim terminal, you'll find the special ticket machine. Press the button and get a ticket, which is valid for 80 minutes. With it, you can confidently take a train, a bus, or a streetcar. Just 7 minutes by train, and for nothing, you are in the city center. When checking into any hotel in Geneva, you get a transportation card for the whole duration of your stay, also absolutely free. Not often I saw such generosity. The transport card is as well valid for the yellow boats connecting the two shores of Lake Geneva. It looks like not a long distance to go. Actually, it's even possible to walk. By sail on the lake, by boat is an important Genevan ritual. In Geneva, there are 124 hotels, but we had time to check out just 2. The first choice fell on the new perky 4-star Eaux-Vives, the newest of the 6 Manotel hotels. All Manotels are 3 and 4 stars and are located in Geneva, just a few steps away from the lake's right shore. They are comfortable, functional, are fit for small groups and business travelers. This is what Nicholas Trenz, the Change sales director, told us.
The Envy Hotel, we tried really to attract the wide generation, and we wanted to have an hotel with artwork. So you will find here a lot of different artwork, 40 in total, which is quite nice. Painting, sculpture, and the idea is we want the client to discover all this artwork during their journey here. So it's another approach, another way to live the hotel.
I felt like I found myself not in a hotel, but in a modern art gallery. At the entrance, you are met by a copy of the famous sculpture by Bruno Catalano, a hurrying businessman with a briefcase, a kind of prototype of a typical hotel guest. Currently, for the pandemic period, the reception has moved to the art hall. With a bar, we're in the midst of colored mannequins and paintings. They hand out keys and offer cordon bleu art cocktails. The hotel concept was developed by the architect, Patrick Reeves, a fan of pop and street art. Even the soap vials in the suites are elements of decor. Focusing on art, they don't forget at the hotel about new technical requirements and have already installed equipment for hybrid conferences. We put up on the left shore of the lake at the luxurious 5-star Metropole Hotel, where on separate occasions, Richard Wagner and the Duke of Brunswick had lodged. It was a pleasure to think that I had also been registered in the guest ledger of the legendary place. The hotel's sales director, Anthony Lemayul, proudly told us why guests favor Metropole.
The Hotel Metropole is quite different from all other hotels in the city. We are the only one to have this view of the lake. We are the only one on the left bank between the lake and the shopping district. We are 3 minutes walk from the old town. So we are the only one to be in this position in Geneva.
Metropole has 127 suites, including the luxurious apartment with the floor area of 280 square meters. Half of the suites look over the Léman Lake. With the start of the pandemic, breakfasts at the hotel have taken on quite a different turn. With the safety of the guests in mind, they are all served a la carte, are ordered from the menu, and not self-serve from buffet as before. Sure enough, when you have buffet, it takes you less time to have breakfast. But I like the personal service early in the morning. When still half asleep, you allow to bring yourself a cappuccino. Before taking an afternoon walk, we went up to the Met Bar on the hotel roof to enjoy the sight of the city and try the local cocktails. Antony's welcoming cordiality looked like a serious challenge to famous leaders' hospitality. I have to say that the snacks and cocktails were beyond all praise. No surprise, CNN picked exactly this roof for live broadcasts of Putin-Biden summit. After a hearty apéro on the roof of Metropole, a walk was a must. Together with Julia Cunaud, we took a stroll through the English garden, where we saw the famous flower clock with Patek Philippe mechanism, then soaked in the atmosphere of Rue des Rhônes and Rue des Martyrs, the old city Place des Moulards. For dinner, Julia took us to the best steakhouse in the city, Chez Philippe Grill Bar, which can be mistaken for a speck of New York in the heart of Geneva. Malcolm Sigarts told us about Chef Philippe and the idea of the restaurant creation.
Mr. Chevrier have 45 years of experiences in the field of the gastronomy. He has worked in a lot of Michelin star restaurants when he was younger in France, Switzerland. Then he booked the Domaine de Châteauvieux, which is now a 2-star Michelin restaurant. And he decided to create this restaurant in 2015. Because he ran a lot of time the Marathon of New York, and one year he came with an architect and he decided to bring back the design to Geneva.
We had a look at the wine cellar with over 500 brands, felt the mad New York rhythm in the kitchen, and paid tribute to artichoke steaks and tartar. As for the cheesecake, I'm still daydreaming about it. Our next morning started with a visit to the European Nuclear Research Organization, or CERN, the sanctuary of fundamental science. To say that my dream had been to see this place is to say nothing. A visit to CERN has to be booked 3 to 4 months in advance. A staff member leads the tour absolutely free. Here, a large number of scientists from all over the world are working, so there will be no problem with any language-speaking guide. We were really lucky to have with us the science communicator, Darya, whose explanation of complicated scientific problems was simple and clear. On CERN territory, there is an interactive multimedia exhibition and a unique ground for Mies events, the Globe. On the top floor of the Globe, there is a conference hall with broadband internet connection and excellent technical support, which is smartly hidden behind a decorative panel. Practically any company may arrange its event here. It's just required to make a one-off donation to the Science Development Fund in the amount of 10,000 Swiss francs. At the main floor of the Globe, there's one more exhibition where multimedia spheres relate of complicated physical phenomena. Here we met Francois Briard, head of events department.
CERN is the largest particle physics lab in the world. It hosts more than 12,000 scientists from more than 110 nationalities. It's really the mecca of particle physics, and everybody wants to know more about it. We're really keen on inviting and getting many visitors. We get about 200,000 visitors per year.
I just have to add, in 2023, the world-famous architect Renzo Piano is going to build here the CERN Science Gateway, which will be a unique architectural masterpiece with an interactive exhibition, a restaurant, and a modular auditorium for arranging events. We'd been planning to have lunch on the board of the historic paddle boat while traveling across the lake to the French city of Ivoire and back to feel like the heroine of Titanic movie. Done. A mesmerizing sight, the historic deck, the central stairway, the first-class layman restaurant where they serve European lake perch with fresh flowers. But a special aesthetic pleasure was watching the multiple old-time pistons and gear wheels settling in motion the large tonnage vessel. It costs heaps of money and takes a lot of effort to rehabilitate a steamer from the beginning of the 20th century. But the Swiss are very meticulous about their history, and rightly so. There were quite a number of Genevans and tourists on board. During the voyage, I learned from Martin Oeschger how to arrange an event on board.
On our boats, we have 2 different features for big groups. It's either on our regular cruises, where we can have some groups up to 200 people on a cruise which goes according to timetable from one place to another, where you can just make a boat trip, but also the possibility to have lunch or dinner on board. The other alternative is to wholly rent one of our boats, and then you are the captain on board. You can tell us from which place you will start, how long you will travel on the boat, and you can really choose the itinerary of your trip.
Cruise on board a steamer is not the only way to ride the wave. On the day my inner magnet of search of adventure edged me on to try a new way of subduing the elements, subsurfing. The start is simple. You see cool pictures on social nets, read posts, and think that it's all within your scope of abilities, but nothing of the kind. On that day, the lake was turbulent like the sea, and I was no less turbulent inside. First, you sit on the board and think, it's absolutely impossible to stand on this swaying air mattress. Then, here there are two people standing on the same kind of things. Stand up and start struggling. A few efforts of will, and here I am, standing on a sup and oaring towards the horizon. Incredible drive. It didn't go without falls, but the feeling that I had managed to master the board was more important than my soaked hairstyle. Those who helped me with this were the instructors of Tropical Aqua Station, under the guidance of its director, Fabien Cachin.
Actually, stand-up paddle is a great sport for groups because it's very accessible and very easy to manage, actually, to be standing on the water. So, and at the same time, we have many. We have about 50 to 60 boards, so we can afford big groups of people going together at the same time. And if they don't want to have an individual paddle, we also have big paddles for 8 people, which is also quite fun because you can fall and basically fight with your friends on the same paddle.
After the sports achievements, science classes, and tasty food, we finally set off for a typically Genevan spot, Initium Watchmaker. At this wonderful place, I became a watchmaker for a day, having mastered the trade under the tutelage of experts. You don't believe? I can show you the certificate. Manufacture of watches in Geneva is handwork. For this trade, you need sharp eyes and strong and steady hands, as the parts are so small and numerous that in order to handle them, you must be in really good fettle. With my eyesight far from perfect, this proved to be not so easy feat, but it really takes your breath away when a lifeless mechanism, after reassembly, once again starts ticking, in tune with your heart. Real magic. Manager Tamara Aziz told us how you can organize leisure time in the workshop for a group.
To assemble a wristwatch at Initium, you can make it in a 4-hour class or a full-day class. So the difference between both classes will be that in a 4-hour class, you will more focus on the design of your watch. So you will choose your case, your hands, your dial, your straps, and then assemble it. And on a full-day class, you will also have the experience to focus on the mechanism itself. So you will disassemble and reassemble it.
It is remarkable that the history of watchmaking in Switzerland is closely interwoven with religion. In the 16th century, trying to escape persecution, Huguenot watchmakers fled to Switzerland. Jean Kevlin, the prominent theologian who came with them, instituted a ban on idle life, gaudy dress and jewelry. Watches became the only article which could highlight the status and embellish the owner. Jewelers became watchmakers, which turned Switzerland into the world's leading watchmaking power. Thus, Protestantism created the Swiss watchmaking industry. We spent our last evening in Geneva and Eaux-Vives Parc at the 18th century villa managed by Metropole Hotel, where we were welcomed by Anthony Lemayul, who we already met before.
At the restaurant Hotel du Parc des Eaux-Vives, we do have 7 bedrooms to offer to our client, as well as a restaurant on the ground floor with local product that our chef cook. And on the first floor of the hotel, we do have his signature restaurant where he can express all his talents.
The menu of Chef Jérôme Monifacier from Les 82 offers French cuisine with Asian flavor. Coming here, you get carte blanche. You don't have to pick dishes from the card, as if in a theater. They just start appearing on the stage, that is to say on the table. The serving of each dish is announced, like in Le Ballet de la Maison. sitting on a balcony of a villa in Les Studes Provençal, in a splendid park with a view of the sunset, you became keenly aware that in this city, one can realize the most bold ideas.
You need a unique gastronomic experience, then you need Geneva.
You need a watchmaking experience, you need Geneva.
You need hospitality and gastronomy, you need Geneva.
You need to have fun on the water, you need Geneva.
You need a hearty, trendy, cozy hotel, you need Geneva.
You need a lake experience, you need Geneva.
You need a unique rooftop bar, you need Geneva.
You need science and innovation, you need Geneva.